I went and saw Sinners, and guys, vampire movies are so back and cooler than ever. As an OG lover of vampire movies, I have gathered a list of films you need to watch. I have made a list of films that I need to watch that I still haven't seen, because now the vampire obsession is back in full force. But first, my review of Sinners. In the film, we follow Smoke and Stack, twins played by Michael B. Jordan, when they return to their hometown the day leading up to and the day of when they have their grand opening of their juke joint. We also follow their cousin Miles, played by Sammy Moore, who is the preacher's son but wants nothing more than to play his blues music. But as his father says, music has a dangerous power. I don't want to say anything more if you haven't seen it already, but Sammy Moore's performance in this film is phenomenal, both his singing and his acting. For this to be a debut, like, I applaud you. This movie simply restored my faith in vampire movies. End of sentence. I just love that Ryan Coogler let us have it all. We had the supernatural, we had the love, we had the music, and we just had the feeling of being in with the cool guys. It is also such a beautiful film. I kept wanting to pause and rewind while sitting in the cinema just to be able to look at every frame a little bit more closely. And most surprising of all, this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and if you know me, you know that I mind when movies are over 2 hours. But I didn't hate that this movie was that long. It was just perfectly the exception to that rule. One thing that I really want to highlight about this film is also the fact that we truly cared about these characters. It's a long time since I've seen a movie with this many characters, but that also makes you care. Like, we got the best nuggets of like story for every single character that made sure that when we had the big fights, when we were there to root for people, we did root. Like, I was sitting on the edge of my seat, rooting, cheering for certain characters. That's a long time since I've felt that connected or that like involved in characters. Last but not least, it stars Jack O'Connell, and I will just say that this man makes every character he plays come alive. Like, it is just... So what do you need to watch now that you have simply been hooked on the vampire movies? Well, I'll tell you which movies we have on the menu.
He chose one man. He gave him infinite power, eternal life, and a daughter who would be forever young.
This is the only real evil left.
And then he took the light of day.
First one, Interview with the Vampire. We follow Louis and Lestate after Louis has been transformed into a vampire by Lestate, and then the whole movie is framed by an interview that Louis makes in present day about his life. The love, the betrayal, the friendship, the epicness, and his inner darkness and the hunger that he has. The movie stars Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. It was filmed in the 90s. Like, mic drop. I don't think I would have to say anything more to make you watch it. But if that is not enough, I have this Letterboxd review that I'll read out loud to you because it says everything that I apparently am inadequate to tell you guys. Nothing about this makes sense. Is this a romance, a comedy, a horror film? How was this so gay? But how was it not gayer? How was this marketed? Who funded this? How was this made? Who saw this in theater and where are they now? Why did Kirsten Dunst have to snap so hard? Why was Tom Cruise given the go-ahead by Scientology to make this extremely erotic film? Why did the audience not clap after Antonio Banderas' extremely thought-provoking play? Why is this dedicated to River Phoenix? Is Brad Pitt, like, okay? Last but not least, where is the sequel? So, to sum it up, this movie is just incredible. And can you really say you love Tom Cruise if you haven't seen him play a vampire in a blonde wig? I'm not so sure. Okay, honestly, I don't know how to talk about this film without making fun of it, but it is only because I took this film so serious the first time I watched it, and multiple times after that, because I was 14. I had posters of this movie hanging on my wall. I had Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise's vampires hanging on my wall at 14. So, with that in mind, I think you should watch this masterpiece.
Now listen to me. We graphed up all the disappearances. That's you right there in the center next to his house.
I really hate to be the one to tell you this, but that guy, your neighbor?
Jerry.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
That is a terrible vampire name. Jerry?
Fright Night, the 2011 version. This is about a teenager who is very sure about the fact that his new neighbor is a vampire, but no one believes him, so he seeks the help of a self-proclaimed vampire hunter and magician. We have to start with the cast on this one, because if that is not reason enough to watch this movie. Like, guys, Colin Farrell, David Tennant, Imogen Potts, Dave Franco, Toni Collette, Anton Yelchin, and Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Like, are you hearing the amazing people that are in this one? This might not have been a religious experience like watching Interview with the Vampire, but still, this movie was on repeat. Me and my friends always watch movies at my house, and this one I can't even count how many times we saw. I used to go to Blockbuster and buy the old films that you couldn't rent anymore, the ones they had like a ton of because they had been very popular. So you can buy like 10 movies for like $12 or like, yeah, 150 Danish crowns. We'll just do it like that. And that's how I used to find out about new films. And Fright Night was one of them. That's enough about me and how I got into movies. But this movie has it all. It has the actors, the humor, the horror, and the cherry on top, vampires.
Do you see this human?
He's attractive.
I can't be positive, but I'm beginning to take a liking to following him.
Hello, Michael.
Why are they after you?
Vampire and werewolves have waged war on each other for centuries, but now all bets are off because our vampire ass-kicking, werewolf-hunting queen, Celine, might be falling in love with the peacemaking werewolf Michael. This movie, like apparently all the other ones I mentioned, it just dawned on me, played also, to be honest, a very integral part of my teenage years, but I will say when I read reviews of it now, because I have never done that, I can't figure out if I was the only one that had that experience with Cate Blanchett in like leather kicking ass being the coolest vampire ever. But I will now force this experience on you. So hopefully you have the same one as me and not whatever people on Letterboxd are seeing when they see the movie. To be honest, I have nothing else to say than Kate Beckinsale is an ass-kicking, awesome vampire, and you should have that experience. You should watch this movie. You should actually watch all 5 of them, because yes, of course there is 5 movies. We follow 12-year-old Oscar, who is being bullied when he meets his mysterious new neighbor, Ellie. Oscar and Ellie's friendship grows, but Oscar also realizes that Ellie is no ordinary girl. This movie feels like quite a different addition to the vampire genre, even though it's also about love, friendship, coming of age, and family. But the way these themes are shown in this movie, in its very quiet Swedish ways, is just music to any movie-loving person's ear. So this is not a crazy vampire story with a crazy build-up and a crazy climax, but it is one you can just lean back and enjoy the atmosphere, the dialogue, and the performance of these children.
And you'll never die. Be one of us.
Notice anything unusual about Santa Carla yet?
It's a pretty cool place. If you're a Martian.
Or a vampire.
when a divorced mother moves to a coastal town with her 2 teenage boys, she moves in with her dad. But soon these 2 kids realize that there is something much more sinister hiding in this town than just party-going surfers. I watched this movie many moons ago, back when I had the phase that we've been talking about all throughout this video. But I remember actually thinking that this movie was very 80s and not very Edward Cullen. And I will say, when I read up on it, it did seem like everyone else thought it was a very quirky 80s vampire movie. But I think that's even more reason to actually watch it, and I think I actually have to rewatch it as well. So maybe we should rewatch it, watch it for the first time, and just enjoy a quirky 80s vampire movie, because you can't talk vampire movies and not talk Lost Boys. Because the movies I will watch now that I'm back in this bloody vampire genre, they are the old Fright Night, because Fright Night is actually an older movie than the one I mentioned. I have just never seen it, so I think that is worth a watch. Then we have the original, I'm saying original, but the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie that came before the series. I haven't seen that one. I love the show, so another glorious movie that I haven't seen that I hopefully will love. Then we have What We Do in the Shadows and Blade. Also very excited about those 2. Last but not least, we have the series Interview with the Vampire, which came out in 2022 and is still going. It has quite good reviews, so I might have to hop on that wagon as well. If this video wasn't a trip down memory lane, I don't know what is. But cheers to vampire movies that shaped our teenage years, and cheers to the one that now will shape our late 20s.